if they know how to clarify properly, as like I say, we train farmers, our customers, on how to use the clarifier, they would definitely do the job. A lot of customers, as a matter of fact, come and take just the clarifier. If they can't afford all, they just come and take the digester and the clarifier. So when you take that one, whatever the problem is, when you get there down clean, it's just that, like I said, you will lose some oil to the mixing of water and oil together.
Okay, so with that one also helps reduce the FFA.
What will stop FFA is sterilization. You just sterilize it to kill it from continued production. That's the early sterilization. Sterilize on time.
Let me add to that FFA. That FFA, according to our scientists, they say it doesn't. It's not a poison. Just have that one in mind.
Yes, it is not a poison.
Increase it will create processing difficulty during transforming it from palm oil to maybe vegetable oil
to white oil, to clear oil.
So the FFA actually emanates during fruit handling. I mean bunch handling. There are so many ways of pre-treating the bunches so that the fruit can lose within first day and the 7th day of harvesting, just like my boss have already stated during this lecture. Then you have to confine to make sure that when you are watering the bunches, that it does not bruise much of the fruits. It is through the bruising of the fruits that the FFA, that organism, will now enter it and change the orientation. That is in terms of taste. That is where it picked it, FFA, in the first place. Now, and that is FFA comes in at the beginning and at the end. And that place is the clarifier. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
So that's where FFA can emanate. But when you're able to stop it at these stages of processing, then you can store your oil for over 2 years. At least, just like he told you, we have had one that is approaching 2 years.
Yes.
Now, and they still maintain the same standard. For the issue of caking, it's not really caking. It's normal because it's of 2 layers, stearine and the oleum. The oleum is the lighter one. The stearine is the thicker one. Let us assume the fruit is not done. And that FFA can come in there. If the fruit is not well sterilized before processing, the FFA can enter.
Continue building. Not stop building.
Because it was not well sterilized. So for cooking with water immersed inside the fruit, we discourage it because we discover that using steam has more advantage than immersing it inside the water. First advantage is that when the fruit is not contacting with the water, it's using steam. It shrinks the kernel inside the shell so that when you want to crack, you can as well crack 24 hours after processing. It will get a whole nut, a whole kernel, because the steam has shrinked the kernel inside the shell, leaving it almost dried. Unlike when you now cook with water, you cannot crack it until you sun it. You sun dry it. Those are the advantages. And when you now steam, you are still maintaining some of the minerals content, like vitamin A content of the palm oil. It will not be damaged.
It will be washed out.
Okay.
That's about that.
Maybe if the fruit, or let me say the punch, is not ripe enough, they can harvest it and mix it with the ripe one. So in that process, does FFA come into there?
What happened in that case is that when you have such situation, what you'll be expecting is no yield. Provided you pass through the process handling that I told you,
okay,
you get quality oil, but you'll be expecting low yield if they are not properly ripe when you harvest them, because the oil bags that house the oil are in form of oranges. When you open your oranges, you see small dots round
small bags of oil
juice
that's
around
inside
it.
the oil, inside
It's
the
the
orange.
same thing. It's the same thing like oil palm fruits.
Yeah, these ones are too small.
When they are ripe, those oil bags will manifest. But when they are not ripe, you will not be able to identify them. In short, they will not burst. And once they are not burst, what you have is more of moisture and low oil yield.
You cannot get the oil out of them.
That fear of
yes.
and there's something like indicators that one can use to test the percentage of FFA in an oil so that you know okay, how to go about the sterilization. If it's to sterilize more, or at least you know that as a point, or even after sterilization, you cannot test okay, this FFA was this before this percentage, but right now because of the sterilization it has reduced. So are there indicators, materials you can use to test?
Yes, you can actually check. That is why we have quality control. Like when you establish the oil palm industry, you have to have a quality control. Yes, there is a experimental procedure to check it. It exists.
Usually,
But not during the processing.
The processing line. After the processing line, after you've gotten your oil, you can now test for FFA. But nevertheless, using our equipment, we have standardized this in such a way that once you sterilize, as long as you have steam, the water they have produced steam, you have started injecting steam into the system, approximately 30 to 45 minutes should be enough to sterilize your fruits. But nevertheless, the experienced hands will tell you that the smell will change, the coloration will change, the taste will change. That's your usual 5 senses: eye, smell, and taste.
Even when you allow it for over 7 days, by the time you taste the food, it will taste differently from the day 1 or day 2 or before the 7th day.
That's before even sterilization.
Yes,
the raw fruits.
even the eye level, as he said, will show you. And even when you bruise more of the food, you should anticipate that this batch might contain high FFA.
Only a lot of bruising. Usually, once you have bruised fruits, you should mill immediately, sterilize immediately. Once you realize you have bruised fruits, as fast as possible, you sterilize. If not, FFA will keep building.
So let's just quickly glance through some questions from our online participants. So one said, "Sir, is it true that vegetable oil, which is groundnut oil, is made from palm oil or is from groundnuts?"
Answer, please.
Okay. Vegetable oil comes from him. You know, when he started, he built up a whole of oil sources. You can get them from any of these oil seed materials, and that's how you have castor seed oil,
sunflower
oil,
soya beans oil,
and the rest
oil.
of them.
But we are not in palm oil now. Red palm oil can be bleached through a process called RBD. RBD palm oil.
Wow.
That one, that's now clear vegetable oil. That's the RBD, refined, bleached, and deodorized. When it passes through that process, you get clear palm oil, as in clear oil. It shouldn't be red oil anymore. So palm oil can be either be red oil or clear oil. So just the processing. When you process it further, you can get clear oil. And then
in conclusion, you can get vegetable oil from
palm
there.
oil.
And
then that's where the FFA counts. Because the higher the FFA, the more it's difficult to get that clear palm oil.
Without odor and taste.
Okay, so the other question is, what are the optimal conditions for oil palm fruit sterilization, and how do these conditions impact oil palm?
Optimal conditions for sterilization is just injecting steam.
At say 100 degrees Celsius.
Of course, once you have steam, that's above 100 degrees already. That's 104 degrees. Once you get steam, it's being produced, you have crossed 100 already. You're 104 degrees centigrade already. So once you just inject steam into the system, you have already gotten the condition. Then for proper sterilization, like I said, using equipment, 30 to 45 minutes. 30 to 45 minutes of injecting steam should be able to sterilize the entire fruits, the entire batch.
Then the second question is, how does the type of digester used in oil palm processing affect the efficiency of oil extraction and the quality of the extracted oil?
Okay. The efficiency, yes.
In a world where financial stability and sustainable income are more crucial than ever, one industry standout, which is oil palm agro real estate. This powerful investment model combines the wealth-generating potential of agriculture with the appreciation of land value, providing consistent income and long-term financial security. At SilvaWell Limited, we are pioneers of oil palm agro real estate. We are not just another real estate company. We are a solution for individuals, brands, and organizations that want to create, nurture, and sustain true wealth. We believe in combining the best of two worlds, real estate and agriculture. That is why we have created a unique business model that turns your land into a wealth-generating machine. SilvaWell Limited is built the idea that real wealth is not just built, it is nurtured and sustained. Oil palm agro real estate is a proven wealth creation model. Countries like Malaysia and Indonesia, which started with seedlings taken from Nigeria and West Africa at large, have built industries worth billions of dollars by nurturing their oil palm plantation. Indonesia alone produces over 45 million metric tons of palm oil annually, while Nigeria still imports over 400,000 metric tons to meet local demand. At SilvaWell, we've developed a unique business model designed to give you the best of both worlds, capital appreciation and passive income. By investing with us, you own a piece of land that is actively cultivated with oil palm trees. The trees begin yielding fruit within 3 to 4 years, and they continue producing for over 35 years, giving you decades of steady income. But that's not all. We understand the need for immediate return, so we have introduced our intercropping model by planting fast-growing crops like plantain between the oil palm. You start earning income as early as the first year while waiting for the oil palm to mature. This strategy ensures quick returns while your long-term investment continues to grow. With SilvaWell Limited, your investment is protected. The demand for oil palm and its byproduct in Nigeria far exceeds the supply, which means there is an ever-growing market for this essential product. And with Tenera oil palm breed developed by Knife, you are invested in a highly productive crop, resistant to disease and ideally suited for Nigeria's climate. SilvaWell's plantations are located in Edo State, which is known for its rich soil, favorable climate, and perfect topography to grow oil palms. Major industry players like Okomu and Prep have thrived here, building wealth year after year. Edo State is the heart of Nigeria's oil palm industry. The land here is naturally suited to oil palm cultivation, and that is why we have chosen this location to ensure that our investors get the best possible return. With the right conditions in place, your land becomes a growing asset from day one. Whether you're a civil servant, entrepreneur, brand, or organization looking for sustainable passive income, SilvaWell offers unique opportunity. This is not just about land, it's a wealth-generating asset. Imagine owning land that not only appreciates in value, but also generates income year after year. Whether you're looking for passive income or a business person looking to diversify, this investment works for everyone. Oil palm agro real estate is one of the safest investments you can make today. With increasing demand, stable returns, and land value appreciation, your investment is protected against inflation and economic instability. It is a low-risk, high-reward portfolio that ensures you build and sustain wealth. We don't just help you create wealth, we help you nurture it and sustain it for a lifetime. Start building your passive income today through oil palm agro real estate.
But the quality, no. The efficiency, the digester, the sterilizer. First, like I said before, you have to cook it enough. You have to sterilize enough. If the oil is not hot enough, you will not break those bags. I was talking about oil bags. It's just like giving a scenario of orange. You know, when you drink your orange, there are some small bags inside. It's the same thing. All fruits have those small bags that carry the juice, the real juice in it. Orange is very pronounced, but for oil palm, it's not so pronounced. You can't really see it with naked eye. But those for you to be able to get the oil out of oil palm fruits, you need to be able to break those bags, and that's the job of the digester. The digester, that's the pounding process. Beat it, macerate it to break the bags out. So when you've broken the bags, then you can now press for the oil. So if you don't give it enough heating, you cannot bust those bags. Digestion efficiency is tied to sterilization. But now, pressing, quantity of oil you will get depends on the quality of your press. If you have a good quality press, you now press more oil. If you have a bad quality press, you lose some oil to the waste, to the press cake. Yes.
Okay.
So the quality of the oil doesn't really affect the digester screw press, doesn't affect the quality of the oil, because the quality of oil comes from your harvesting, your heaping, and your sterilization. That's where the quality of oil comes from. Then finally, the clarification, how to clean the oil after pressing. But the digester screw press itself doesn't affect quality, but affects quantity.
So the other question is, what are the advantages and disadvantages of using hydraulic press versus screw press for oil palm extraction?
Okay. One major advantage or disadvantage, depending on how you look at it, perspective. Hydraulic press is a batch press. What's I mean by batch press?
Batch process.
You have a container, you pour your fruits inside, your sterilized fruits, and then use a hydraulic to press, get the oil, you remove it, extract the press cake. That's the waste now. You call it press cake because you have the fiber and the nuts inside. So you call it a press cake. You extract the press cake, then put a fresh batch, press again. That's batch. Whereas the screw press is a continuous process.
Digest.
As it's coming, it's pushing out the next one. Another one is the next one that's coming is pushing out the first one. It just keeps as long as the digester, if you have enough fruits and enough sterilized fruits on ground, the digester can run 24 hours. It just keeps running and you just keep feeding it. It doesn't stop.
You save time with this one.
He said, how does the refining process affect the nutritional content and shelf life of palm oil, and what are the implications for food safety and quality?
Okay, you'll talk more on that, but basically, yes. First things first, like you said before, the shelf life. Once the water content is high, then you're sure that the shelf life will drop. Once the moisture content of the oil is high, the shelf life will drop. So part of the clarification stage is to minimize the water content, the moisture content to less than 1%.
Okay.
So that to give it a high, long shelf life.
Yes.
The case of burning the oil. When you burn the oil, you lose some parts of the vitamins in the oil, especially vitamin A, carotene. It's the first to get lost. It's through the local method or even the method. If you don't know how to use it very well, you begin to lose. By the time you burn the oil, somebody if person that doesn't know how to cook the oil, if it's too hot and he allows it to stay for too long in the heat in extreme conditions, you might burn the oil.
The only thing, when you talk about, there are two different things. You don't refine palm oil. Once it's refined, it's no longer palm oil. It's already vegetable oil.
Okay.
After refining. But
no longer red oil. It's still palm oil, but not red palm oil. Now clear palm oil.
So now, in the area of recovering it through direct heating in a pot, like he said, you lose a lot of the major active ingredients of the oil. Then our own system, it will be hard for you to lose them, because unless you are cooking it and then went and traveled and the whole water dried. But as far as there is water in there, though this issue can occur at the drier station of the clarifier,
especially in the drying section.
Yeah. So all you need to do, from my experience, you monitor. Of course, the first sense of smell will come. That's to tell you that the oil is done. It's by experience. And because you cannot enter inside and see what is happening inside there.
But to make noise. When oil is just like when you are cooking in your kitchen, and the oil begins to jump. So there's water in the system.
Yes.
And then when it begins to, the sound will change, and then you begin to smoke. You know that there's something wrong. Your system is wrong. You have to adjust. So it's just the normal system.
How can oil palm processing facilities optimize their energy usage and reduce their carbon footprint while also improving efficiency and productivity?
First things first. I've heard a lot of arguments on this issue, talking about using gas, using electricity, and so on. First, understand that the oil palm farmer is looking at maximum gain first. So our job as scientists is to maximize the gain for the farmer. At the same time, doesn't mean that we're not watching the environment, because part of the developmental goals is to ensure clear environments and low carbon footprints. Part of the things we're trying to do, our research is geared towards, especially in the medium scale and large scale producers, is using steam. First is that in the farm, you have excess of fiber, you have excess of shell, and you have excess of other biomass that you can use to produce heat. So average farmer will not want to use gas or use electricity, because he has to pay for that, whereas this one is free. It's already in his farm. It's already, as a a problem in the farm, because after harvesting, after all this biomass, he doesn't know what to do with them. Off the top of one's head, you would think that because your meal is in the farm, you have high, very tall palms. Palms need carbon monoxide. Trees, they all consume carbon monoxide. So most of the carbon you produce will be consumed by the trees, because depending on the large size of your plantation, you have a large plantation, the trees will consume it. Nevertheless, we are also researching using carbon, that's charcoal, from the shell, especially because the shell has a very high calorific value. Calorific value in the sense that has a high temperature, burns at very high temperature. So that's very good fuel. The shell of the kernel is a very good fuel, because when it burns, it has a very high temperature, and you can use it to do a lot of your processing work, your milling work in the farm, in the processing of palm oil. So you can try to carbonate it before using it as fuel. So that way you reduce your carbon footprint.
And heat generated lasts for a long time.
Yes.
From all he said now, it means that certain of your meal should be in the farm.
Better off in the farm.
It should be in the farm, so that the plants will absorb them as CO2 and convert them into useful meals using the photosynthesis process, and then release the oxygen to us, human, to enjoy.
And the environment.
It's a cycle. It's a natural purification process that will not leave any carbon footprint at the end.
And with this technology of carbonizing your biomass, you can, or digesting it to get your biogas, you can still mill outside the farm. So your carbonization plant or your biodigestion plant will be in the farm, and then your gas or your biomass, your charcoal now can be exported to your mill. If your mill is not in the farm now, it cannot be exported to your mill and used in the mill. That way you minimize your carbon footprint.
What are the current trends and innovation in oil palm processing technology, and how are these advancements likely to shape the future of the industry?
The current trends, will I say there are any special current trends? The trends has been the same. Process the oil, sterilize, digest, press, clarify. That's usually the standard trend. Right. But nevertheless, over time in Nigeria, most of the farmers have been small-scale farmers. Yes. They account for most of our agricultural output. But now, over the past few years, I'll say that I can categorically say that the amount of medium and large-scale farmers is beginning to grow. That's the capacity of large-scale and medium-scale farmers beginning to grow. So as they are beginning to grow, our technology is also gearing towards that side, because you see, a lot of them are beginning to think about going to import equipment from outside, which we are trying to discourage. So as our technology is going towards that side, we're also trying to catch the world-class available technologies, because usually anything you're doing in small scale, there's a lot of waste than in large scale. So if you're talking about recent trends in Nigeria now, yes, that's a recent trend. We're trying to promote large scale, because if you're going to medium to large scale, you get more income. Instead of just having 5-10 hectares per farmer, why don't you merge different farmers? Because I've seen that abroad, where a company and I remember some time ago there was the agricultural policy that was promoting agricultural corporations. So as even if you want to go and take a loan from a bank, you have to first define. Up till now, I think that one is still stands. You have to first define what cooperative do you belong to. You have to belong to an agricultural cooperative. Okay, we are all palm farmers and we are so. And it's best if you are all farmers are in the same area. So I have 5 hectares here. This one has 7 hectares here. This one has 10 hectares here. This one has 3 hectares here. All together, before you know it, you're talking about 50 hectares. So by the time you want to process now, you know what you're processing. That's actually the trend to go. That's the way forward.
Things, how can oil palm processors ensure compliance with international sustainability standards and certification, such as ROSPO and ISCC?
That's international standard certification.
Yes, sir.
And that's basically, like we said before, FFA and moisture content. Once you can minimize that to the minimum, that's 5.
In today's rapidly changing world, the key to lasting financial security lies in innovative investment opportunities, combining sustainability and profitability. Welcome to SilvaWell Limited, where we bring to you a groundbreaking investment model that does just that. Agro real estate combines agriculture and real estate dedicated to agricultural production. At SilvaWell Limited, we offer you the opportunity that does not just provide ownership of valuable land, but also guarantees returns through well-established agricultural practices. When you invest with SilvaWell Limited, you are not just purchasing a piece of land. You are securing a lifetime of wealth. Once your purchase is complete, the ownership of the land is transferred to you, and all the legal documents with the likes of C of O are prepared and delivered to you. But that's not all. The land you acquire isn't just a virgin land. It is fully cultivated with well-grown oil palm seedlings, planted using the industry standard spacing of 9 meters by 9 meters, ensuring optimal growth and yield. What sets SilvaWell Limited apart is our innovative approach to maximizing your return on investment. While waiting for the oil palm trees to begin fruiting in 3 years, we have intercropped the land with plantain suckers to provide you with a quicker return on your investment. The plantain will be ready for harvest by next year, offering you an immediate income stream. This dual cropping strategy ensures that you start earning while your oil palm matures. Our comprehensive management service is one of the most significant advantages of investing with SilvaWell Limited. We handle everything from planting and cultivation to harvesting and marketing the produce. You don't have to worry about the complexity of managing the crops. We take care of it all, ensuring your investment is profitable and stress-free. Your land appreciates, and you earn from the harvest without lifting a finger. Oil palm is more than just a crop. It symbolizes a generational wealth. With SilvaWell Limited, you are not just harvesting for today. You are securing a legacy for tomorrow. The land we manage for you is productive and appreciated over time, ensuring that your wealth grows and is preserved for future generations. Whether by selling oil palm fruits, plantain, or the byproduct, your investment is a sure path to sustainable wealth creation. Don't miss out on this opportunity to invest in the future. Secure your piece of SilvaWell's oil palm agro real estate.
5% FFA, less than 5% FFA, and less than 1% moisture content. That is enough for you. And besides, some companies, some big scale, large scale companies, they actually have their quality control lab where before the oil goes out, they test it as a standard. Test it, and then you now label it. So oil is so percent FFA. You label it. Once you label it, anywhere it goes, if it goes to NAFDAC or it goes to anywhere, any international, they can pick it up and they see you have labeled it. That is very important. That the fact that you have labeled it, they can check and confirm. If they find you wanting, they'll come to you and why did you label it wrongly? But as long as you're not wanting, they recognize it.
Even when the oil build more than 5% FFA, you can convert it to technical palm oil, where you can use it to make soup and other industrial products.
Nevertheless,
nice.
in the African market, the high FFA palm oil is still very, very,
Selling.
very, very vibrant. As more of
Yes.
they sell fast.
That's true. Now, what are the challenges and opportunities associated with integrating small-scale oil palm farmers into global supply chains, and how can these farmers be supported in improving their productivity and sustainability?
Very lovely question. Now, to support them, for them to be able to break into the international market, is to get that FFA and moisture content down. And to get it down, for example, you have just 5 hectares or 10 hectares or a few hectares, and today what you harvest is just 1 ton or 2 ton. You're going to have to hire labor to come and do this, to come and get it done for you. And then maybe you don't have the capital to get enough equipment to process for you, because the traditional method is you leave it for 2 weeks. The palms are over 2 weeks on the ground. You just shake it on the, heat it, all the fruits fall off. But if you use a machinery, you'll be able to, within 7 days, less than 7 days, 5 days, you already gotten your fruits, you mill. But if you don't have that capacity, so you cannot get your FFA down. That's first things first. So your milling process is actually quite low, because your holding in the first place is too small to hire labor that will do all that job for you, and the equipment you need to do that kind of job, you need a larger farm holding. So that's where now comes to the agricultural cooperatives. When they are now merged into cooperatives, into corporations and so on, they can now mill together and get better quality oil. So if you know that, okay, the only problem we have is agreement, for them to agree that, okay, this is, for example, I believe that if I carry my oil mixed with your oil, why should I get less? You understand? How do we share it? How about the sharing formula? So that's what you have to now really look at. And basically, just to summarize this, if I'm going to summarize it, first thing you look at is immediately you harvest, you weigh. Okay. Immediately you harvest, you weigh. Why is that? When you harvest a lot of moisture content in the bunches. By the time you leave it on the ground and sun beats for maybe overnight, the next day you come and weigh, you lose weight because water has evaporated. And the longer you leave it, the more water has evaporated. So you have 5 tons of bunches that have left for 1 week. You might get 4.7 tons thereby. By the time you're coming to press for oil, somebody that just brought his own 5 tons, if you want to now say, okay, 50%, 52% is mine, because mine have 5 tons, you have 4.7 tons. I should get more than you. You cannot argue. But actually, you should actually be 5 ton to 5 ton. You know, be 50% to 50%. Especially if you are farming this. Very important that they plant the same planting materials.
Yes.
So you cannot be planting Duran and planting Tenera, and then you come and say, no, let's share it 50-50. No, it doesn't work that way. And as a matter of fact, there's almost no way to share it that way. You cannot share. So it's important that the first cooperatives, then they must plant the same planting material. Then when they plant the same planting material, immediately they harvest, they weigh. So, okay, this is my own weight after harvesting. When another person harvests, he weighs, adds it to the bunch. So everybody knows that, okay, I have 5 tons, I have 3 tons, I have 20 tons. Everybody knows. So whatever oil that is gotten, because it does happen that I mill 5 tons today and I get 20 jerry cans. And I mill 5 tons tomorrow and I get 18 jerry cans. It's very possible. There's nothing wrong with your milling process. It's just, that's what life be. All things are not equal. So it might be that next tomorrow I'll mill the same 5 tons and get 25 jerry cans. It happens like that. So you cannot say that, okay, so whatever that is gotten now, whatever oil that is extracted now, you also have to share it based on percentage. This person have 5% and we mill 50%. So that your own is just 10% of the whatever that oil that has been extracted. So you're now sharing to percentage. But like I said, first, putting them into corporations. Second is planting proper, having the same planting material, and then weigh immediately. But if you don't weigh immediately, somebody will be cheated. Definitely.
Wow.
Alternatively, while they have formed the cooperative, they can cooperate. They can buy it. I have 5 tons. He has 4. we buy it with our resources and process and sell the proceed. What we realize.
The last question we have here is, how can oil palm processing facilities prioritize workers' safety and well-being while also ensuring compliance with regular labor laws and regulations?
That's a difficult question. That's between a shark and a deep blue sea. Because you see, small-scale farmers, because of the small scale of your farming, of the farming processes, you're not talking about safety. The quality of their equipment cannot cover all the safety features you need to meet international standard. To be difficult for that, because one, I'm talking about heat. There's going to be a lot of heat production there. It's talking about smoke. You're talking about so going to be gas inhalation and hazards generally, because it may spill. Hot foods may spill on somebody or something like that, or hot oil may spill on somebody or something like that. So, on the other hand, to be able to achieve that, like we said, talking about getting farming come together as groups and so on, so I can get better equipment. First things first, using a boiler and steam injection, so that when you have a boiler somewhere else, the amount of smoke you produce is controlled
Inside the mill.
inside the mill. But when everything, smoke here, smoke there, smoke, everything is heating, it's difficult to control the smoke in the mill. When you have one boiler and the heat, the heat is being passed through steam to all the different equipments, then you minimize the amount of, you can control the smoke. That's one. Two, I've designed a roofing system, or we have adapted a roofing system, because it's not a new design, it's an adaptation of a roofing system where the oil, the smoke goes out through the top of the roof, like a chimney. You create a chimney, a passage, so the smoke that is built in the system will go out. We reduce inhalation of foreign gases for your staff. Then safety wears. By the time you take in safety wears, you now have to talk about also heat in the system, because when they wear safety wear, they generate heat. The place gets hot. So you see, you're already working in where there's steam, and then now wearing safety wear, you're going to get hot. So you might think about fans or something like that, or something like that, something to bring in air to cool their temperature down. But the problem with fan is, like, especially in the small scale where you have open air, open fire everywhere, by the time you are blowing fan, you know what that means. Fire is going to catch. That's why it's a very tight way to control. So the best way to go is the medium and large scale. If you want to meet up all those standards, the medium and large scale, but the small scale is going to be really difficult.
For that medium and large scale, like, how many hectares of oil palm can you consider medium and large? Is it 100 hectares? Is it 200? Like, how many hectares can you consider to
I
be
think
medium?
from 100 above.
From 100 hectares?
Yes, above. Okay. But even from 70 hectares, you can start considering to be medium. But from 100 hectares, definitely start going to medium scale, because through in the medium scale design, we're now trying to incorporate conveyors and try to incorporate, like I said, steam boilers and so on, to reduce human contact and therefore reduce spillage of heat hazard, heat hazard, and so protect the workers. And that's in the medium scale. Whereas in the large scale, wow, you can be sure you get everything you want there.
So those are the questions we have gotten so far from online participants, and we are so grateful for this teaching so far today.
Wow,
we are so happy. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I don't think we can round off this section while we go to the production
system.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes,
you're
sir.
very welcome. Actually, I was hoping there will be more questions. I was enjoying the discussion.
Okay.
Far.
Though there are still, so maybe before we are done there, they might also send some other questions.
Why not? Well, I'm here for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Even if it's online, so now that you're here, you can always have our contacts, and whatever the case may be. That's
awesome.
our job.
That's
We're
awesome.
a government institution. Government has built this institution to solve a problem. So you understand that a government institution, not just an NGO, or we're not just an industry. Our job is to create profit for Nigerians. As long as Nigerians or even customers, just call it customers, because even non-Nigerians come, we have to answer their questions. Our job is to answer your questions and make production of palm oil easy for you. As long as you don't have to pay us for it, you don't need gain for that. That is now our job, to make sure that you gain. When you gain, and we can meet up our oil deficits and even start exporting oil, then we're talking. That's where our own profit now comes in. So you're very welcome.
That's true. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I want to really appreciate for this great opportunity. What we have created in SilvaWell Limited is something that is unique. Is an agro real estate model that we have structured a system whereby people can understand the real nature and the real benefit of oil palm. Because one thing that is ascertained and one thing that is certain in Nigeria is that most people, whenever they want to want to become a business partner, and they want to do anything about business, most times they don't know the accurate knowledge. They don't know the standard knowledge, even though that the rightful materials are there provided by the government, but still most Nigerians don't utilize it. For example, we have had a lot of people saying Malaysia oil palm is the best, Malaysia Supergen is the best. And the first time I heard such conversation, I was like, okay, if you said Malaysia oil palm is the best, have you seen oil palm plantation that the owner will tell you that this plantation is Malaysia Supergen? And you will see some of them, no, they won't tell you, they won't specify. But I begin to notice that because of the trend of what is happening and people don't want to follow the rightful platform or the rightful information that has been provided. But there are some aspects that the government has also done through this NIFO, but yet people are not really utilizing it to the effect. So that's why we have said, okay, let's create a system whereby we can become a student or we can become a partner with an institution that has years, not just 1 year, not just 2 years, that have practical knowledge, scientists, research, proven research results for oil palm. So we can let our community know that, yes, doing oil palm the right way is more better than just using the local way. So thank you very much for this great opportunity, and we are so glad.
We say you're always welcome to NIFO.
Thank you very much.
All the farmers, we're speaking to you for now in person, whatever the problems are, as long as regards oil palm production, you should know that Nigerian government created this institute to solve all oil palm problems. Whatever the problem is, from planting to pests to the agronomic practice, that's fertilizers,
Yes.
weed control, and diseases. We have scientists for everything. Here you are in engineering.
Yes,
We
sir.
have a lot of departments for all the problems. Whatever problem you're going to face, we have seen. Because if you look all around over there,
Very
they're
well.
all plantations.
Yes, very
Even
well.
these ones here, they're actually plantation. You can see all these ones, they are small, these are
Yes.
young palms.
Yes.
They've just been planted recently.
Yes.
These are the young palms being planted recently. So all these ones that you're seeing here that is empty, they're actually young palms. They're
Yes.
just planted recently. So we have years of experience, and there's almost nothing that is going to come that we've not seen by the grace of God. So whatever your problems are, as long as it comes with regards to oil palm, the right thing to do is first go to the government institute for your answers. Whatever the questions are, we'll definitely answer your questions by the special grace of God. So that when you come, that way you can get maximum profit, maximum benefit. And like you said, like I showed you in the presentation, we're talking about the deficit in the Nigerian oil production, and then the potential in the international market. We're talking about our dollar going down. Why is the dollar going down? We're buying more than we're producing.
Yes,
And some of these things we're buying are what we can actually produce. The rice, the oil, the meat. All these are basic things. So we should be able to feed ourselves.
That's
If
true.
you have rice, because rice is the highest producing food crop.
Wow.
Palm oil is the highest producing oil crop. And then cow meat and beef is the highest producing meat. That's protein.
Yes.
What else do you want again? And all this we have. So why are we still importing? That's first things first. So if we achieve that, at least our oil product, our exchange rates, our currency will improve. I read a document that was saying sometime in 1984, thereabouts, during IBB's regime, that's Ibrahim Badmus Babangida, they were talking about that Very important message. When I heard that, that it was a heartbreaker. Our import exceeds our export.
Wow.
Way exceeds our export.
Wow.
And 50% of our imports are foods like rice and oil. Things we already have. So you see, it's something that can be solved. So that is why we need you people, and we appreciate your efforts. And we also hope that you spread your tentacles as wide as possible. Help us spread the message.
Very
The
well.
government, like you said, may not have done everything, but cannot complain about everything. The one
Exactly.
the government has done, how have we utilized it? Let us optimize what we have already. For example, Malaysia, the only thing they have is oil, palm oil.
Yes.
They don't have crude oil, they don't have any other thing.
No.
What about China? The only thing they have is population.
Yes.
They don't even have land mass. They don't have land mass. They don't have the palm oil in large quantity. They don't have the crude oil in large, but their population is large quantity, and that's what they have utilized. So let us stop complaining about what we don't have and optimize and use the ones that we have. On the final note, let me also comment about that super gene, because that was for some time it was a very crazy thing. Super gene, super gene, super gene.
Yes.
But let me just tell you, I am not an agronomist. I'm not a plant breeder. But I have friends, like I said, we're an institute. And when you talk about super gene, I asked somebody about super gene. I will tell you what he told me. That when he just told me, as in, that just kills the discussion. That the assertion outside is that there's one product, super gene, that when you plant it, it will produce how many 100 tons of palm oil per annum.
Yes.
Now, in this discussion, we talked about Tenera being a hybrid from Dura and Persifera. Is it possible to add 2 + 2 and get 5? So you already know what Dura has. You know Tenera, Persifera. Is it possible to get that in international crazy thing they're talking about?
Yeah.
Ideally, what you're just talking about is just, first things first, get a very good hybrid. Because the hybrid now, if it's not well crossed, that's when the amount of Dura in your plantation is too high.
Yes.
Then you now have poor quality. That's low quality Tenera.
Yes.
Then furthermore, your agronomic practices, the fertilizer you use, how consistent are you? Those are things that count a lot. So before you know, even we're saying that you should get so tons per hectare per annum, but it can go beyond that if you use the right agronomic practices. You understand?
Yes.
So just like you said, today now this is malt. You see malt Guinness. This is Amstel malt. You have better malt, that malt, this malt. So which one is better? Which one is the improved? This inside. So that's just that super gene is just a name. It's a brand name. Just like Malt Guinness is a brand name, nothing more. Just like Knife Oil is a brand name, nothing more. Malaysian oil too, they have their own brand name, nothing more. But of course, these are industries that want to sell, and then Coca-Cola will tell you that, or how
no sugar,
no sugar, or they will tell you that Red Bull will give you wings to make you fly. Fly now. That's the idea. Just a marketing strategy. And then people take it too literally. You shouldn't take it too literal. It's just a marketing strategy. That's just it.
That's
so,
true.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Yeah, so happy, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, sir.
Imagine a future where your wealth grows steadily, rooted in the fertile land of Nigeria's rich agricultural heritage. At SilvaWell Limited, we bring this vision to life, where tomorrow's wealth is harvested today. We offer you a unique investment model. SilvaWell Limited is a leading oil palm agro real estate company that specializes in combining agriculture and real estate. Oil palm is one of the world's most resilient and profitable crops, with a history of contributing to Nigeria's economic strength. By investing in oil palm agro real estate, you are not just buying land, you are investing in a proven sustainable source that has stood the test of time. At SilvaWell Limited, we take agro real estate to the next level. Our land comes fully cultivated with oil palm seedlings, planted with the precision and care required for the optimum growth. But that is not all. We have also intercropped the land with plantain suckers, providing you with a quicker return of investment while the oil palm matures. Investing with SilvaWell Limited is a seamless process. For From the moment you purchase your land, ownership is transferred to you with all the land documentation in place, including the certificate of occupancy. And as your land grows, so does your wealth. We manage the entire process from planting and cultivation to harvesting and marketing of your produce, ensuring a steady income stream with minimal effort on your part. Oil palm trees can produce for over 35 years, offering a legacy of wealth that can be passed down through generations. As your tree grows, so does the value of your land, ensuring that your investment sustains you and builds a future for your loved ones. Don't wait for tomorrow to secure your financial future. Invest with SilvaWell Limited today and start harvesting the wealth of tomorrow. Contact us now to learn more about how you can be part of this transformative opportunity.